When we think of the Samaritans, we always think of the Good Samaritan. This story has kept the name of the Samaritans on our lips and in our minds. But what is a Samaritan anyway? Samaritans was a mixture of Hebrew, Egyptian, and Syrian. The Samaritans worshiped Yahweh but picked many different religious practices from the people that intermarried with them. The Samaritans built the temple on Mount Gerizim. They were monotheists but worshipped in a manner similar to neighboring people. The Samaritans only accepted the Torah, or the first 5 books. They were strict about regulations on the Sabbath. The Samaritans did, however, pronounce the divine name of God in their oaths. They probably worshipped at the tent of Moloch, the star god mentioned in last week's video. The Samaritans built a temple at Mount Gerizim instead of the Temple Mountain on Mount Zion in Jerusalem. The tribes of Judea and Benjamin were taking an alternate route from Galilee to Judea. They would cross over the Jordan River and go through Transjordan, crossing near to their destination. Jesus in John 4:21 through 24 said that they were worshiping at Mount Moriah or Mount Gerizim, and it wouldn't matter. Neither of them mattered. Jesus passed through Samaria and didn't look down on them. The Samaritans were baptized in Acts chapter 2. Among those baptized was Simon Magus. A few Samaritans lived in the city of Nablus. Around 300 were active practitioners of their traditional religion. The Samaritans celebrate Passover in the ruins of their temple on their sacred mountain. They say that it was the site of the first temple built by Joshua after the Hebrews conquered the land of Canaan. The temple was built on a high place in the Canaanite tradition. The temple was built before the 2nd century BC. It was constructed in a town at the top of the mountain. The temple was destroyed and the town abandoned in 128 BC after John of the Maccabees attacked the area. A temple to Zeus was built in the area in the 2nd century AD. A Christian church was built there in 484 AD. The Samaritans didn't want a church on their holy mountain, so a revolt broke out in 529 AD. In the 16th century, a shrine was built to the Saint Sheikh Kanaim of Islam. The Samaritans are still practicing their traditional rites on their sacred mountain. They claim that Moses taught them in his 10 Commandments that to take pilgrimages 3 times a year. The history of the Sumerian people is long, and the Samaritans and the other 12 tribes, they live together. The southern kingdom of Judah was made up by Judah and Benjamin. The northern kingdom was called Israel, and it was made up of the other tribes, which is Reuben, Simeon, Lavan, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, and Joseph. Joseph broken into Ephraim and Manasseh. The Samaritans claim to have the true traditions from Moses. The 2 ruling tribes were Ephraim and Manasseh. The priest is from Aaron. The people began to follow a priest called Eli because of his sorcery. The true priest hid the temple treasures away to be found by the Messiah ben Joseph, as mentioned in my other video. The Samaritan Messiah. The Assyrians conquered Israel and took the people captive. An Assyrian named Sumer bought land in the kingdom of Israel. He brought people from the eastern end of the Assyrian Empire, mostly around Babylon. The 10 tribes were moved to Asia, and also some went to Africa. The people migrated to Israel at this time was having problems with wild animals, mostly lions, and the ground became infertile to them. Cyrus the Great sent the high priest Abdullah of Samaritan descent, right? And a host of people from the tribe of Joseph back to the land of Israel. Cyrus allowed the Samaritans to build a temple on Mount Gerizim while denying a temple built in Jerusalem. This strained an already hard relationship between those two kingdoms. The Samaritans hung onto the Torah fiercely, as did the Pharisees of Judea. The settlers to Samaria came from Babylon. These people brought their gods. In 168 and 167 BC, the Samaritans sent a letter to Antiochus Epiphanes, stating that they have no relation to Judea or their God. As opposed to the time of Alexander the Great, the Samaritans claimed to have been Hebrew. The temple of Gerizim was renamed the temple of Zeus. This led to the Maccabees destroying the temple. The history of the Samaritans shed some light on one of their sons, Simon Magus. Simon was a magician with ties to both Samaria and Jerusalem. He seemed to have profit. It was linked to the early church. Simon was baptized by the apostles but did not want a Christian life. His life mirrors the Samaritan people. Simon Magus saw the power used by the Christians and wanted to use it. He was rejected and started his own religion, which later became the official religion of Rome. Later, Simon's group rejected those that rejected Simon in Acts. His system looked Christian on the outside, but it was non-Christian in reality. Faith in Jesus was exchanged for faith in Rome, logic, and anything but Christ.